What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video, I'm doing another one of the Pro Football Network, I guess modes, and this is the Ultimate GM Simulator. I have no clue, um, what this does, but you can see it pretty much takes you throughout an entire season. So you're doing free agency, you're doing mock draft, and then you're seeing what I guess a computer predicts what your next season will be for that according team. Of course, I'm going to use the Houston Texans. So let's jump straight into it. All right, we're going to move to the 25-26 results. And it, oh, I guess I have to make my own score prediction. We'll go Texans 24, Colts 13. And then simulate all those games. I guess I have to simulate the playoffs. Look at the full standings. Does it have? I guess it has the Steelers losing to the Ravens, but somehow I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But did they beat this? Um, that's last week where the Steelers lost there, and then they lost there again. So it should be the Ravens there, but whatever. We're gonna simulate the playoffs. And your Super Bowl is Jags versus Rams. After we lose to the Jags in the divisional. Um, and yeah, so made it to the divisional again and then lose. So no AFC Championship appearance. That's not something I guess I can control. But I'm managing my roster now. I have -3 million in cap space, so you're gonna have to restructure these two guys probably. Look to restructure Aziz, maybe Sting, and potentially Nico. I'll leave Dalton Schultz just because I don't think he'll be a Texan after next year. You're going to have to cut Joe. Potentially cut Mario Edwards coming off injury. See how much money we have. Tremont Smith and Justin Watson can go. Drew Scruggs can go. Dylan Horton can go as well. And then potentially Jarrett Patterson can go or Jake Andrews, but I'll leave them both. British Brooks can go. Absolutely. Keontae Hamilton can go as well. So that's 77 million. You can restructure Petrie as well if you'd like. That's a lot of movement, but I think you need all the cap space remaining to retain your guys because you're losing a good sum. You can see other teams restructuring a lot, like the Bears, like the Browns, like the Cowboys, like the oh my lord, the Broncos, and the Lions. So it's not just me, even though I did do a lot. I cut guys that I don't think should be a part of this roster headed into next year. Elijah Huzzy should be here because we drafted him, but I'll just do this. It should be accepted. Um, Dare for maybe 1 mil over 2 years, pretty much fully guaranteed. It's not accepted. Maybe if I give him like 1.25, or we'll go 1.5, and we'll give him 85% guaranteed. That's accepted. Okay, perfect. Let Nick Chubb go. Dameon Pierce isn't even part of the team. Maybe you want to bring Jawar Jordan back. And I think you could get him for cheap. Something like the Dare contract, like this, and then you go like 90% guaranteed. That's accepted. Perfect. Woody, hopefully this is just automatically accepted because he's going to be a part of this team next year. Okay, that's accepted. Good news on that front. If you want to bring a fullback back, I like British Brooks probably. Bring him back for around 1 mil for 2 years. Give him 90% guaranteed. He's back. Other than that, there's not many guys. I mean, Brevin Jordan is coming back IRL. Give him around 2.5 million over 2 years. With like 75% guaranteed. That's accepted. 75% guaranteed just because he's injured quite a bit. Trent Brown, I think if you could get for like 5 million across a year, like 70% guaranteed, I'd do that. He's willing to accept that. That's perfect. Ed Ingram, another important one. We're gonna go 8 across 3 for 75% guaranteed. That's accepted. Good news there. Sheldon Rankins, I think, is going to be a healthy sum of money. We'll go 10 across 2. And we'll go nearly fully guaranteed. That's not accepted. Maybe 10.5. 95% guaranteed. Nope. 11 across 2. 95% guaranteed. Should do it. Doesn't. Go 11.5 as my highest. If he's not willing to accept this, then okay. Got him back. I think you're looking at bringing Tim Settle back for around maybe like 3 million over a year, pretty much fully guaranteed too. That's accepted. So you're down to 47 million, but I don't think there's 3 more guys that you'd like to bring back. 4, 5, 6. So EJ Speed's the first one. I think if you can get him for 3 million, then you take that all day of the week. It's not accepted. He's here for 4.5 right now, so give him 4. Hopefully that's able to. Maybe if you give him more years, if you give him like 3.5 over 2 years, I don't think he's gonna decline that. He does. Excuse me. Maybe 4 over 2 is something that he'd be willing to accept. I'm stupid. Just give him his contract again. Across 2 years, fully guaranteed. Okay, that's accepted. That makes sense, I guess. Just him wanting to be in the best financial position for himself. Danico Autry, I think you can bring back for around like 8 million on a 1-year deal. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. For around 90% guarantee. Nope. Maybe a 2-year deal is the most I'd be willing to give you on like 90% guarantee. Nope. We're going to let him hit the open market. I just think he's aging. He's around 32. Derek Barnett, I'd like to bring back too. We'll go 4.5, see if that's accepted. It is, thankfully. Yeah, we'll let Danico Autry hit the open market, but try to hit or re-sign him when he does hit the open market. Brinkman, I think you can get him for like 750,000 or 750,000 across 2 years, fully guaranteed. Yeah, it's accepted pretty easy. Tommy Townsend, hopefully you can get him for maybe 2.5 mil for 2 years or so, fully guaranteed as well for a punter. Nope. I'm stupid. What about 3 million for a punter? Across 3 years, fully guaranteed, or 2 years, I guess, fully guaranteed, or 3, whatever. 3 years fully guaranteed for Tommy Townsend, who's been a decent kicker or punter for us, excuse me. I saw Matthew Wright, and I was confused why he was there. And kicker was in my mind. Kevon Wallace, I think you can get for maybe $1 million if you give him 90% guaranteed. Nope, you can't. We'll give him 1.5, probably accepted if you give him 90% guaranteed. Yeah. So you're realistically going into free agency with around 33 million in cap space. At least in this world. Danico Autry, I really want to bring back. If you give him a fully guaranteed deal across 2 years, are you telling me he's not accepted? I'll give him 8.5 across 2 years, fully guaranteed. If he doesn't accept this, then I give up. Okay. Thank you. So that's our re-signs. You can see we re-sign a lot of guys. A lot of teams are going to re-sign a lot of guys. And now we're at the open market, so you can see what we're looking to do here. Have our quarterbacks, have our running backs, kind of. You'd like one more, a lot better than Dare or Jaguar's level. I like Woody Marks, but I think you could use a compliment back to him. You have 3 tight ends on the roster. You have your tackles, as well as Titus Howard being a guard, but you could use one more guard as depth. I think you have your D tackles, you have your edges, you have your linebackers, you have your corners. You have 2 safeties. You probably want one more, and then so you have money to play with here in this world. And I think if you give Brees Hall 14 across 3, 90% guaranteed, that's accepted all day of the week. And I think that'd be worth it for a player of his caliber. You have Brees Hall, Woody Marks backfield. I think that's incredible. Other than that, you look at the tackle market, I don't think there's much. Alex Leatherwood could be a good backup tackle, but I think you're fine there. Unless you want one guy that can obviously be a backup and do a job there, like a Charlie Heck, who you used to have. Maybe you can get him for cheap. You probably need to give him 2 to 3 mil. Other than that, you could look at Elijah Vera Tucker to be a starting guard for you if you want to move Titus Howard back out to tackle. But I think Trent Brown's done a job. I think Chris Paul could be a guy that you bring in as a backup guard potentially. And you give him like a 90% guaranteed contract. He's going to take that. I don't know where most of that. I mean, 14, we had like 26 headed into free agency. So, yeah, it does make sense at the end of the day. You maybe want to elevate center play, but I think that's something you can do in the draft. Cam Jurgens is, in fact, there, though. So maybe you want to throw like $5 million on a 2-year deal with him for like 85% guaranteed. That's accepted, surprisingly. And then what else? You're maybe looking for one more safety. And I like the idea of Andre Cisco, who I saw up there. I also like the idea of, let's see who else is here. Maybe Fatu Melifanu. Not a great safety class. Juan Thornhill's not bad. Lewis Cine I could take. Nick Cross. I mean, if he takes maybe like $3 million a year across 3 years for 95%, that could be a starting safety over Kevon Wallace right there. That's going to complete my free agency, I think. You still have $1 million to work with if you want to get a return guy, like an AJ Henning who can return. So we'll do that. He takes that. That's your returner right there. Aaron Donald is there, surprisingly. We're going to complete our free agency. A decent haul there. Breece Hall, Nick Cross, Cam Jurgens, Chris Paul, and AJ Henning. Foley Fatukasi heads over to Arizona. Tre'Davious White to Atlanta. Mike Hilton to the Ravens with Kevin Zeitler and Nate Herbig. Even Clyde Edwards-Helaire went there. Hassan Reddick, Levante David, Shaq Griffin, Stephon Gilmore. Another amazing free agency class if you're in 2018. Other than that, Will Hernandez to the Bengals, is a decent move there for them. 2 backup quarterbacks headed to Cleveland, like they need any more backup quarterbacks there. Brendan Sheriff to the Dallas Cowboys could be intriguing. Don't know what level he'd be at. Keenan Allen to the Broncos, I don't think will ever happen. I guess they wanted the Chargers receiving core, and they get Javonte Williams for $3.5 million. Are you kidding me? Whatever. He'll get around like 11 in real life. Arnold Ebiketie to the Patriots is interesting with Romeo Doubs. A lot of cheap deals here. Demetrius Knight to the Steelers is also very interesting because that's quite literally impossible because he's on a rookie contract. But whatever. We signed our free agents. And then how do I click this? Okay. So we're moving to our mock draft simulator. It's just gradually moving us down the board. Falcons want to move up. I'm going to say no. Seahawks want to move up. I'm going to, let's see who's there. I don't really like the options there that I have right now. You could pick up a great haul with the Seahawks. I'm going to ask for 168 and give them 240. It's been accepted. You could potentially move back again, but that's a great haul. That's also a very decent haul there by the Colts too. I think it's stupid not to take this. I'm gonna take this all day of the week, and then we'll finally make our pick here. I think it was stupid not to pick up a pick 88 there. So here we are at number 33. The options we have, I really like CJ Allen. I've said this so many times. But at the same time, Can I trade my picks? I can. Okay. So we're gonna propose a trade with the Dolphins potentially. No, I need more like the Browns at 38. So if we use 57 and 125, would we be able to get 38? We'll see. Been rejected. Um, we're gonna try again here. 57, 125, 168. For that and that. I mean, I feel like that's a fairly decent. Nope. Okay. Browns doing me in here. I'll give you 57, 90, and 166 if you give us 184 and 38. I feel like that should be I mean, I don't know what they want here. 57, a future third, 125, 166 for 38 and 184. That's fair. Okay, thank you. So we move up to 38 here. I do have a future plan in mind because I want to go Christian Miller. I really think that the Texans need an interior threat, and they want to jump us that badly. Sure, go ahead. It's 9 picks up in the draft. I'll reject the rest. They wanted Brandon Cisse that bad, I guess. Maybe another team was trying to move up for him. I was thinking Amari Washington, but I like the idea of Christian Miller coming in to be a dog. Georgia Bulldog, that was the reference there. In that front seven unit, and I think the Texans could use with a linebacker. And my next pick's all the way down at 81, but then I have 81, 88. And I think the Texans could use with the linebacker. You have one of the best athletes on the board in C.J. Allen, but then you also have one of the best players in this draft, in my opinion, in Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. So, I wanted both of them, but I thought Christian Miller was one of the best picks in the draft. I anticipated Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. Maybe you can move up again and really work this draft board. Something with the Bengals potentially, giving up 81, 88, 168, and a future 4 for 43, and 109 maybe. Been rejected. I'm not gonna try it. I don't think I really have the depth in this draft to really do that. So, I think it's, huh. I'm actually torn. I don't know whether to go C.J. Allen or Emmanuel McNeill-Warren. You brought in Nick Cross. You re-signed E.J. Speed. I think Nick Cross is probably better than E.J. Speed. So I'm going to go C.J. Allen. I think you could find a safety down the board that you really like, potentially. Emmanuel Pregnon just went. I didn't even see that, or else I would have been all over that. Here at 88, though, Jake Gold and Torian York are still there. Yeah, probably just screwed yourself over if you saw this board coming. Jadarian Price just went at 79, but thankfully we don't need a linebacker anymore. Kamari Ramsey would have been nice. This could be a trade down spot. And I think that's exactly what it's going to be because I don't really see anything. I like LJ Martin a lot, but we don't need that anymore. I mean, is there a center here that I like? Jake Slaughter's all the way down the board there. We can definitely wait for that. Yeah, we're going to propose a trade here down to, we don't need anything for a while. Anything that I like, I guess. Malik Muhammad, I like. What safeties are still? Keon Sab's down there at 123, so hopefully you can pick up 2 picks down there. Does anyone have 2 picks down here? Bengals have 109, and then they don't have anything else. You got the 49ers at 87 and 89. Maybe you try to do something with that. So if you go 49ers here, you go 81, you ask for 87, 122, give 184, and you get 163. I think that's okay. Nope. I guess I just don't know how to trade. We'll ask for 89 instead, give you 81, give you 168, and you give us 139 and 200. I think that's fair. Okay. That gets accepted, so we have back-to-back picks here. And I'm gonna reject everything else. Um, actually, that pick swap with the Browns did not look that bad. I think it was 88 for. Hopefully, I'm able to get 166 if I give up 200. Nope. Go 88, 184, one. I think that should go through. Nope. I don't understand. They offered this. I'm trying to get this. I mean, they they literally offered. Okay. Well, that kind of makes no sense. Guess I don't have any trade offers. 88 for 105, 146, 220. Nope. Alright, well, I guess I'm stuck here. I really want to move down. I'm just trying to figure out with who. The Chiefs, potentially? Yeah? No. I really like the idea of those Cleveland picks. We'll go 126, and then we'll give you 184. That's fair. Thank you. And then we'll accept this too. Okay. Move out of the third round. And Tal Johnson, of course, goes the pick before me, but it's fine. I do tend to prefer Jalen Kilgore's game to Tal Johnson, to be honest. All day of the week, I'm taking that. All day of the week, I'm taking that too. Because they did not go one of the best edge rushers in this class in Cleve Lubin. I guess one of the guys that can get to the quarterback at a high rate. I'll reject this. We'll see what we have here available. Deontay Corleone is still there. Okay, I have 139, and then I have 146, and then I have 200. So, with this pick here, you're kind of looking at a guy that can just, do a job as a depth piece, and I think you could use a depth corner. You could use a depth tackle as well. I think PJ Williams definitely has the size to become a guard in the NFL, not a tackle, excuse me. Guys that can become a tackle, not much. All these guys are roughly the same. I think Jude Bowery might be the one with decent arm length. But yeah, you can see they're all the exact same, just looking like they profile as a guard. Nicky Prongos is probably the one. But, I think you could use that depth at corner, so I'm going to go Preston Hodge here. It's actually a great sum of picks that I could use. And then I'll do that. Okay, here at 148, you're looking at, getting the guys that can be good depth for you. My picks so far have been all defensive, actually. I haven't gone offensive just because there's been guys that I like that are down the board, to be honest. So just waiting for them to come up. But I guess I will start with drafting a backup guard in Carter Smith. He's going to be a guard. Hate to break it to you. Here at 167, I think you could go a third running back if you really want to. And I don't think that's the worst case scenario. I think Robert Henney's been very decent. You could also get Noah Whittington or Le'Veon Moss, although he does have a lot of injury history. Could go another wide receiver as a returner. I don't really agree with that idea. I'm going to go Jake Slaughter here, just because our picks are approaching. And then I guess Nicky Prongos to be tackle depth, potentially. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Trying to just ensure that our guys stay healthy. Derek Moore goes right before we're up. Definitely would have been a nice little pick there. Sean Singleton is actually Romello Heights still here. What the? Other than that, I like Adam Randall. I think Jamarion Miller could be a good third back. Sorry, not a third down back. So that's what I'm gonna go with there. And then 221. I guess Evan Johnson's not the worst player in the world. I mean, they have some guys. Yeah, Skylar Howard's down the board here. I think that's definitely something you could look at. Cole Wisniewski is going to be the pick. I mean, you're kind of just adding depth throughout this draft with the amount of picks you had. Skylar Howard almost goes to the end of the draft. Um, Draft Carter Smith, you draft Nicky Prongos, you draft Jake Slaughter, Christian Miller, Romello Height, Clev Lubin, um, really good edge depth. So probably didn't need to re-sign Nico Autry if I knew that's the way the draft was going to go. But yeah, we'll simulate this next couple of games, see how we do in the upcoming season. Can I just simulate all remaining league games? We're 1-2. Okay, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2. Bye. I can't see. 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 8 and. I can't see. 8-6. Do we miss? We're 9-8. So apparently I hurt this team more than I helped them, and we didn't make the postseason. So wait. This is sorry. So we finished 8th in the conference, finished 2nd in the league. Lost to the Giants, lost to the Browns, lost to the Bengals, lost to the Colts. Don't really agree with that, but that's the way they see it. Let me know what y'all think down below. You know, I definitely think that we're probably better than that. Same with the Jaguars, but yeah, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm definitely gonna use it in the near future, some more times rather than just resulting to mock drafts. So, yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this video down in the comment section below. And as always, it's Reeples. Thank y'all so much for watching. It's Texans Takeover. I keep doing that. It's Texans Takeover. Thank y'all so much for watching. And as always, I'm out. Peace.